Hello, here I am again, the Peace Lady. And in response to those who believe the King James is the most messed up book in the world, I'm here to tell you, you are absolutely right. And that is exactly God's intention. So for those people who find the Bible a mess, congratulations, you are reading it right. To help you understand it better, I tell you to take a deck of cards, shuffle them, and lay them out as they are. They should be a confused mixture to anyone who does not understand cards. Someone who knows them can put them in the right order. And so it is with the King James. God did this on purpose, to confuse those who would try to teach it that he did not send. Only the teachers can make it simple. They alone can tell you where to find all the hearts and their order. A 5 of hearts is not the same as a 5 of clubs, although they may be side by side. This is God's book, and he alone can reveal its contents. The book still exists because he wills it. Those he calls to work according to the book. But you do not know it because you have no teachers, not ones God has prepared anyway. While Christ labored to do his assignment, people did not understand until after it was done. So it is today. This is explained clearly in Isaiah 29:11-14. Part of the work God gave me is to rewrite the Bible. I do not change anything. Jesus fulfilled all the hearts. I do the diamonds. These are different times in history. To rewrite the book is to destroy it, because the book is to cover thousands of years, and at times will become flesh or current events. This in God's time. Once again, the book opens, but only the teachers can line up the events. In 1979, it became the living word, once again with me and the seizure of the American Embassy in Iran. I was sent to world leaders with messages from God. No one listened. See Jeremiah 8:19. June 1st, 1979, a message to Pope John Paul II. I told him I was the woman in Revelation 12 and I had a message from God for him. And the message was, there are no saints, only those whom I have chosen. You are to remove all graven images from my church. This is to include the cross, for I am a jealous God and will share my house with no one. I added my own thought on this, saying if it was up to me, I would be inclined to leave the cross, but that is not what he says. At that time, I knew nothing. I simply obeyed. I was just the courier. I had been impregnated with the words to the Justice Review Board. This was publicized in the Globe and Mail 1983 as I tried to reach several times Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau. Returning to 1980, I was sent to call President Jimmy Carter at the White House regarding the hostages in Iran. The message was, I was the woman foretold by the prophets Jeremiah and Isaiah, and I had a message for him from God. The hostages would be released if he set up the Justice Review Board to deal with the crisis. He would not listen. On May 12, 1980, again, God sent word through me to several world leaders. They were President Jimmy Carter, Pope John Paul II, Senator Ted Kennedy, Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, and the Ayatollah Khomeini. The message was on a cassette with a list of all the men who were sent a copy by registered mail. A 6th copy and all the post office registration slips were delivered to a synagogue in Toronto, Canada. The message again was connected to Jeremiah 8:19. The message was in regards to the seizure of the American embassy. The student captured it in November 6, 1979, and this was May 12, 1980. God sends this message to you. One nation must no longer go against another, nor must one nation profit at the expense of another. Leaders of one country must face the people they profit on, and must not be given sanctuary anywhere else. On May 25, 1980, President Jimmy Carter ordered the raid against Iran. The helicopter blew up, killing all 8 men on board without leaving the ground. The Iranian students cried divine intervention. There were no further attempts to do this. Blinded by patriotism, God takes a second place. The hostages remained captives. God began sending messages to the local churches in Toronto, Canada. They either ignored me or sent the police. Either way, I was getting nowhere. Messages were sent regularly and placed to the churches in the personal column of the Toronto Star, the Globe and Mail, and the Toronto Sun. I ran these 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, whenever a message came. In October 1980, again, word came for President Carter. I called the White House several times, leaving the message to see Jeremiah 8:20. This refers to the still captive hostages. It says, the summer is over, the harvest is past, and still we are not saved. President Carter was too busy campaigning for re-election. So was Ted Kennedy. Again, God was ignored. President Carter lost the election. Ronald Reagan was in. He referred to the Iranians in very unpleasant words. All the students requested was the return of their Shah and the $11 billion he had taken from their country, all of which were in the US of A. The Shah was given sanctuary in Egypt, but the money remained stateside. In December 1980, again, God sent word to the White House. The message was, there is still time. Make your last act the glorious one. The hostages will be released to me. I am the woman foretold by the prophets Jeremiah and Isaiah. Again, no answer. After a few days, Ayatollah Khomeini made an announcement. The hostages will not be released until 1/2 hour after Ronald Reagan is inaugurated on January the 8th, 1981. This incident ended. God was still sending me locally, where I was bodily removed from some churches. No one wanted to hear from God, but they continued to pray to Him. In 1981, the Peace Lady was created and appeared walking the streets, wearing my robe, signing a peace sign with my fingers. The messages for the churches came to an end. I was now sent to the people. The rest is history. The living God is rejected time and time again. We have been in wars that were preventable. Wars based on religion, only God can deal with. Wars based on injustice, only God can deal with. Christ's governments can deal with all of this, but we must want it. God will not force a good thing on us. I wished He would. I prayed He would. When will we wake up to the fact we are in control? This is the book, but you can't see it because you don't know how to read it. Exactly as it says, Isaiah 29:11-14. The book is sealed. You need teachers that only God can prepare.